everyone. My name is Hisham. I'm the owner of Clemson Aeronautics, where we make the riveting and dimpling tools. Today we're going to continue with our machine card build. And we had built pretty much the frame yesterday. And we need to install the hinge. And I actually found the piece of wood that's a 2x6 that I used last time for the other cart. And all I'm doing is with this here is I'm just fastening this hinge to that piece of 2x6. Just use 3 screws and fasten them. So we fastened this hinge to that 2x6 in order for us to be able to put it on the frame and have this part of the hinge level with the top of the frame. And at the same time, we can pull it back till it touches the backboard that is going to be fastened to. So you can adjust it in the middle. Actually, it came pretty tight, but I have a clearance of about 64 thousandths of an inch or so. So that's how we're gonna go with it, which is pretty good. So now I have to set up and drill the holes through in the middle of that so we can fasten the hinge to the back of the machine. Here's an important note that I noticed. When I clamped down on the 2x6 up here with both clamps, this wasn't parallel to this. So I got my right angle and I checked it, and I was correct. It was not parallel. So I had to let go with this clamp. Now I don't want it to move, so I'm gonna have to find something to put underneath here to make it exactly parallel with this, then clamp it, then start drilling the holes. Okay, what I did is I put a piece of wood, which is actually a paint stir, underneath here. Now that is like the level from here to here actually is not critical. What we're trying to do is trying to get this, the hinge, parallel to this. So when the machine folds in, it folds in straight. If this is with an angle, it will fold in and hit the wall from the inside. So we want it to be relatively flat, and also the flatness of the machine this way, it will be level with the tables after that. Now I'm going to drill the 3 holes that's in the middle because the ones on the edges is going to be close with the drill. So I want to drill the ones in the middle first because they're easy, and I'll put a bolt through it and fasten it in place so nothing would move. Well, that worked out very well. I have one more in the middle to do. Okay, that is the 3 holes in the middle. The ones on the edge, I think I'm gonna remove all of this and match the pattern of the holes from the outside. Here's another thing that could save you some time and keep the accuracy of what you're doing right here. I put one bolt, that's a 1/4 20 bolt, and the hole that I drilled is also a 1/4 inch hole. So I want to match the pattern from the outside. So I managed to get it in a perfect spot where the hole matches and I'm gonna put a dot right in the middle of the hole, and here so I just drew a dot in the middle of those two holes on the outside, so I can just drill them from the outside. Okay, with this we'll have all 5 holes drilled for the hinge, and I'm gonna go ahead and install the hinge so we can see how it works out. The screws that I'm using to fasten that hinge to the frame is basically a socket head cap screw that is 1 3/4 inches, and you can find that anywhere. I elected to use that because it's kind of a funnel shape and it will go through the hole. It is 1/4 20 and the hole is pretty big, so this will center the screw on there. Then a washer, then a split washer, and a 1/4 20 nut. I finished tightening all the nuts from the back of the cart, and if you can tell, I mean, the washers here, you probably can't tell, it made an indentation in the plywood, and that is actually very good. It keeps it from sliding up and down. It just fastened it a lot better. So now it's time to just take that 2x6 off. I removed the 2x6 that I had up there, and obviously it worked out very well. So now I have to make a plate that would go over here to bolt to the hinge, then to put the machine and drill the hole for the feet of the machine to be mounted to that. This is the sheet of plywood that I am using to fasten the machine with. So I found 2 pieces of kind of a long straps, same material, and put it under the railing here to lift up the machine upside down, so I can put that underneath so I can mark where the holes, where the hinges is going to be. I made a mark, as you can see, 4.5 inches from the edge. If you recall, this part here, the 2x4 up here, was 4.5 inches from the end, so as this line is supposed to be. So I'm gonna mark it where it is somewhat in the middle, and I will make that line at the mark of the 2x4. Then I'm gonna mark from the outside, on the other side, I'm sorry, and make sure that it is kind of parallel inside, and mark it with my pen where the holes is gonna be. Then I'm gonna drill the holes. So now I went from the other side and used my marker and marked where the holes are, and now I can pull that sheet, and these are the hole pattern that's on the hinge. So I'm gonna aim my drill right in the middle of this blue dot. Then we'll flip it back over and set it up where we can bolt it to the cart. So I chose 1 1/4 inch, 1/4 20 screw, and I'm using a washer, and this is going to be the top side. So I put all 4 of them here, and I'm gonna just lay it down on the table and lift the hinge and slip that piece of wood underneath somehow or another, so I can put all 4 screws on the hinge, and they're working great. Fantastic, they went through. So and now I'm gonna put a washer and a split washer and a nut. Now that I installed the plate where the machine is going to go and tighten it somewhat decent so it wouldn't move, and I adjusted the angle with equal distance from here to there, and I know now I checked it, and it will go fairly in the middle, and it is fairly level. I put it on my table here on the side so I can easily tighten these bolts right here, because I do want the washer to sink, because the machine is going to go on top of all of that, and the height of this bolt needs to be less than 1/4 of an inch, because that's the height of the belly of the machine where the foot goes. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I tightened that first one, and I'm going to tighten the other 3. Just one more check just to make sure. Of course, this weight kind of makes it fall just a little bit, but that's okay. And this is the maximum it's going to go as far as height is concerned. I have 4 caster wheels that they are 3.5 inches. So I'm just going to mark where the holes are, and I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill it. Then I will use this kind of bolt that I got from Tractor Supply. It is actually very suitable for the job of fastening these wheels to the cart. Now I've finished drilling all the holes. I'm going to go ahead and clean up, then set up to fasten those wheels. So this is the last 26-inch piece of the plywood, and this is supposed to be going right here to make this level. So when we go like this, now the cart is complete. All we have to do is put a machine on here and drill the 4 holes where we can bolt it to the cart. I placed the CARD1 machine, the heaviest machine I make, on the cart, and I had it the back of the machine from the back of the cart right here from the 2x4, 5 inches. Simply because when this folds down in this model table, this much is going to be sticking up higher by 5 inches. When I stow it underneath the table, I still have plenty of room for that 5 inches to go under the table, and the tables would close together completely, and I don't have to worry about it. The machine is underneath there. So this is the way I elected to do it. And now I'm just gonna mark where the holes are and drill a 1/4 inch hole and bolt the machine to the cart. Now I'm going to fasten the machine with 1/4 screws that's 1.5 inches long. I'm just going to put one washer under the head, and then underneath it, the plate, I'm going to put a washer and a split washer and a nut. Now the project is complete. The CARD1 is mounted on the cart, and you don't need to push or pull. It is stable as long as your floor is stable. This is stable. Now the cart is pretty much complete. Of course, and I mentioned this before, I'm not a very good carpenter. I'm sure any one of you can do a better job than what I did, and probably have more ideas, better ideas on how to build this cart. But the important thing is to test it right now. Make sure that the idea is working properly, just like the other cart. Now we have a compartment here and a compartment on the other side that can be made where you can put a drawer or like a door for it, and shelves where you can store your tools, specific tools, and know where they are, and they're out of the way, and whenever you need something you can reach down and get it. But for now, the important change that I had is the back of the machine is pretty much the back of the cart, because I want to be able to back this cart all the way to the wall. So the back of the machine would be against the wall. So please excuse my mess right here, because all this, you understand, I'm doing all this testing and stuff. So we're gonna do this. We put the cart, and here is the machine is touching the wall. And this is right here. Now, this is not the right height. And I really put these wheels temporarily because they are not the proper height that I want for those tables. And those tables themselves are not the final design. But I'm gonna set this machine up with a new set of wheels later on to make it level. As a matter of fact, because I'm such a horrible carpenter, I made a set of wheels that I made on my CNC machines to be able to raise it and lower it, so I can match my machine with my table. And also when I change the table and change the design of the table, I can simply raise and lower the cart for that. But you don't need to do that. You don't need to go through all of that. You have a concrete floor in your garage, and you have the table. The table might not even be set on wheels or at casters or anything, and you can do all what I've done and make the point level here perfect with your tables, and that would stay like that till you finish your airplane. So that's the whole point. So right now, the table, I can bring these tables all the way up to the machine. These are the braces for the number 4 rivet, guys. Those braces is gonna help you so much on the spars and the doublers. When you'll be able to put the doublers on the table, and this machine will rivet the number 4 rivets using these braces right here, which comes now standard with this machine. And when you're doing number 3 rivet, you remove them and you have the full depth of the jaw of the CARD1 machine, 22 inches. As a matter of fact, this machine is so strong, it will rivet number 4 without braces. This is much stronger than the older version. But the braces have a different purpose that I'm going to explain in the setup and installation of the CARD1 machine in a separate video. So success as far as having the machine in a good position with the tables and everything. So right now we finished working with the machine and we want to put it up. So this swivels not quite at the end of the machine. So this much of the machine is going to be sticking up above the table. And it's going to also reduce the weight that you have to handle coming up and down. And if I do this here, all the way. Now, this doesn't close, obviously, so it will be staying like this, and we will put it up. And the tables are touching, and if you fold up the wings on these tables, you get 7 feet on this side and 7 feet on this side. You have 14 feet long table now with the CARD1 out of the way. Or if you want to, if you have a DRDT2 that you use, it's also out of the way. It has the tools. If you need to reach out to get a tool, you can pull it out and do that. I'm gonna have to deal a little bit with the, as far as this is concerned. On this model, this closes all the way like that. So in this model, I think the solution would be something with a hinge. Like maybe we can put a hinge on a longer piece of plywood that you would have to measure. And so let's unfold this and see what happens. So if we make something, a piece of plywood that would go with a hinge from here, so it would have to be a little longer to reach the edge right here. So you can open it up and lower it, and when you open it up and you go like this, it comes to the perfect spot. So that is the plan. Or not use this period and use a handle with something, 2 slots over here that you can put a piece of wood, something to bridge these two after you lift the machine, and when you're done you can remove, just simply remove that, lower the machine into place and slide it back under the table, and you're done. This is it for today. There will be another video that I am going to make. I'm going to pull out some of the parts for my elevators. Just to simulate to you, I'm going to clean up a little bit here in my shop, and I'm going to spread the table and get some parts out and simulate what you can do with the CARD1 machine or your DRDT2 that you had a conversion kit, how to use it, because this is important. This will save you so much time. And before the time, quality.
Quality is unparalleled, unmatched. It will do a fantastic job. Your DRDT2 will be so solid, it will do the dimples perfectly every time. So when you have parts that's dimpled, that is matched together and gonna be riveted, the dimples are perfectly just fall inside each other. If you do with the handle, even that, the thing is so loose. Mine, I haven't even used it yet, and it's just so loose. And so, but as far as I'm concerned, I gotta talk about my product. My product, if you put the conversion kit on your DRDT2, or the CARD1 machine, or the CAD1 machine, it will give you a perfect dimple every time. Now, the CARD1 machine, of course, will rivet for you the number 3 and number 4 rivets. So you will get quality unsurpassed. I hope you guys learn something from this and benefit from it. And look out for the new videos that I'm gonna come out with, but explaining how to use the card with your DRDT2, the conversion kit, or the CARD1 or the CAD1. And I'm gonna simulate that so you know how to use it and how it's gonna give you better quality work and save time. And please visit our website, see the sale. I don't advertise on anywhere because advertisement costs money. And guess who's gonna pay for that? You're gonna pay for that. Because if I spend $5,000 on an ad in the EAA magazine, well, I'm gonna have to add this $5,000 to the product I sell you. So subscribe to the channel, because the way I am going to advertise is free, which is on YouTube. So when I have a sale, I'm simply gonna make a video and explain the sale that is going on. And then when the sale ends, I'm gonna pull the video down. I didn't pay any money. You didn't pay any money, so subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.